So great to be here today. My name's Colin Bell, and I suppose my background is that I've got a background in growing, scaling, selling technology-based businesses. So actually, one of them that I was a previous owner of was actually Winning Moves, who are delivering this webinar today, who I continue to do some work for. So that's a bit about my background. What we're going to cover today is the title of the session is all around how do we use digital technology to deliver a wow customer experience. So, you know, how we're going to really leverage digital technologies to you know, really deliver that powerful experience, you know, get people wanting to come back and spend more with us. So we're going to really spend the next hour and a half looking at just exploring, you know, why should we be so concerned with customer experience and delivering a powerful customer experience? What are some of the kind of trends that are driving that from a technology point of view? So we'll probably, you know, look at some pretty big trends, you know, some quite advanced technologies, but then we'll bring that back down to our kind of day-to-day businesses through a useful tool, which is essentially a 5-step process that we can all use within our businesses to deliver what would, you know, like to think it would be a wow customer experience. So the way we tend to deliver these sessions, we start, you know, probably quite broad, you know, looking at the kind of bigger picture, but then try and bring everything back down into, you know, some useful kind of tools, techniques that people can use back in their businesses. So trying to really keep it as practical as possible from that point of view. So I'll crack on. As I say, I think we just had Ben join us as well. So just so everyone's aware, use the chat function. You know, if for some reason you want to come in, ask a question, tell me that I'm talking a load of rubbish, you know, please do so, and you know, and let's treat the session as participative as possible. So thumbs up, Ben, nice one. So just kind of kicking off really. So why wow? You know, why do we want to deliver a wow customer experience and really kind of, you know, leave that great impression on our customers? There we go. There's a bit of wow, a bit of fancy animation there, which I didn't realise I'd done actually. But so that I wowed myself there. So I don't think there'll be any real surprises here, but the reason why we want to deliver a great customer experience is that actually customers are willing to pay more. So some research here by American Express demonstrated that 86% of buyers are willing to pay more for a great customer experience. Another, you know, kind of stat that really emphasizes this is that customers are willing to pay a price premium of up to 13% for a great customer experience. So, you know, a product or service delivered within a great and augmented experience, people are prepared to pay a premium for. So, you know, these are real reasons that we want to deliver a great experience. The other thing is that we live in a world now where actually competing, standing out from the crowds, becoming more difficult. You know, it's a much more, most markets are becoming much more crowded. So what gives you the edge? What helps you stand out? What gives you the argument or the excuse to say to your customers, listen, spend more with me, you know, and put your hand in your pocket and give me your money rather than our competitors. And really one of the kind of main ways of differentiating is around delivering a great customer experience. You know, it's something that's demanded, it's something that can help you differentiate. Businesses are putting more focus on that, but it means that you get more customers and they'll spend more. Another thing is it really just highlighting the pain involved in getting it wrong. So 1 in 3 customers will leave a brand that they love. So that could be a brand like Apple, you know, where they've got a real great affinity to, just because of one bad experience. So people vote with their feet. You know, if they've had a bad experience, then, you know, people tend to be quite fickle. Another thing is that if we're delivering a great experience, people tend to it invokes people to actually, you know, make impulse purchases, you know, because of that experience, because they're like, you know, the person who maybe they're dealing with in the experience that they've delivered. They'll maybe take that extra add-on, or you know, that extra product that's being offered to them at a till, etc. You know, they make impulse purchases because they're really kind of enjoying the experience that they're experiencing. And then the last that I'll kind of throw at you is that customers that rate companies with a high customer experience score spend 140% more and remain loyal for 6 years. So they spend more, but again, you know, deliver a consistently great experience, and you got customers for a long time. How are we going to deliver a WoW experience? A point to make around all this is that when delivering a customer experience, or delivering your goods and services to your customer, obviously there's a process to that. You're engaging a customer and you're taking them through a journey right through to the ultimate delivery of that product or service. And the point I just want to make here is that can be, you know, quite a short process. It can be a long process. But the point here is that there's lots of different components to that. There'll be lots of things that you're doing. It'll be, you know, the sales process, the delivery process, etc. And you're only as good as your weakest link. So you could, you know, every point of that journey, you could deliver a great experience. You know, the people you're dealing with at the checkout, or the delivery person coming to your house, could be absolutely fantastic. But if the delivery's late, or actually if the point of purchase experience wasn't great, that's what tends to remain in people's minds. So we've got to be focused on, and increasingly we've got to be focused on delivering a fantastic end-to-end service. And technology is actually a great enabler of that, because what technology allows us to do is integrate and join up all the different stages of that journey. And we'll get onto how we can do that through the tool that we introduce. So just to emphasize, this is typically how I would think about a kind of typical customer journey. And really what we're looking at here, we're looking at, you know, moving people from a state of awareness, so they're aware of the great things that you can offer within your businesses. They'll then make a decision around purchase. You'll then deliver that. They'll then realize the value of that that particular product or service. Has it delivered the value that was promised? And then they'll recognize that. And quite often they'll recognize that through buying it again, you know, which is what we want people to do. We want them to come back, reuse and do more. So we've got to deliver that end-to-end wow. It's got to be wow at every single stage of that service. Now, a couple of things just to think about, and we'll get onto this in a bit more detail later. There's probably few companies have direct control of that end-to-end delivery. You know, you maybe have partners, you'll have delivery drivers, you'll have a whole range of people probably involved in that. But again, it's making sure that there's consistency across all those different partners and all the different people and technologies and processes that are coming together to deliver that. So we've got to own that, and we've got to control it and make sure that it's a fantastic experience. So just what I'm going to do now, and this is really just to kind of open our minds to what's going on in the world. What are the kind of big trends? What's the big stuff that's happening that's really driving great customer experiences and actually drive customer expectations? I think that's one of the things that we're seeing more and more customers. You know, they expect more. They expect more of us. They expect a product the next day. They expect a response immediately. You know, customer expectations are becoming kind of being driven through the roof at the moment. So, you know, the technology helps us deal with that and deliver against it. So, first trend I just wanted to focus on, and this isn't a new trend, but I think it's something that's becoming a bit more mainstream. But it's mass customization. So, This is basically explaining the process where you could have a mass manufactured good, so it could be a trainer or even a car, but actually you can customize it to your own preferences. So going through probably a similar manufacturing process or design process, but what's coming out the back end is very much customized, you know, but on mass. Lots of examples of this. I think you know the origins really are in manufacturing and probably car manufacture, where you know you'd maybe have a red car or a green car, and that will be changed as the car was moving down the production line. But there's great examples here, like not on the high street. Buy quite a bit of that buy quite a bit on that website myself. It's basically allows you to customize presents and gifts for people, so to put their name on, customize a poster, you know, the whole range of different things. But what that's basically doing, it's a website that's aggregating goods from a lot of different sellers who are all offering customizable, offering to customize them. So it's what I would probably call a mass marketplace type of model, where people can buy customized gifts. So it's kind of taking that almost in a long tail kind of model. So selling probably low volumes of lots of different things on mass to the market. So that's really interesting model. People like IKEA, you know, absolutely fantastic at this. You can actually go onto their website, sit in the store, use their software to design your own kitchen and put different components together in the configuration you want. So, and almost removing the need for a kitchen designer from that point of view. Shoes, you know, we're seeing this loads in clothes where you can you can actually design your own shoes. You can put you know your name on them. You can choose the colours and all sorts of different things. So they're Nike shoes again. They're going through a very similar production process. And Moonpig, you know, that's another great online example where a printing company have actually moved into the field of delivering delivering customizable cards and posters and gifts and presents, etc. So that's one of the big trends, this trend towards mass customization, you know, which is delivering great experience for people. Another thing that we're seeing, and this is maybe a bit further off the horizon, but I think we do see examples in the mainstream at the moment, is that we're increasingly seeing what I've called here physical and digital realities colliding together. So this is an example. This is actually a concept store in Japan that basically uses augmented reality to animate the store. So rather than having signs everywhere, actually you've got virtual signs. So you hold your smartphone up against the aisle, and it'll basically tell you what's on all the different shelves. If you're looking for a particular product and service, you can go through the online catalog, and it'll actually take you to that particular shelf. You can scan different foods, and it'll tell you the nutrient content, you know, if there's any allergies and all those sort of things. So it's kind of giving you information about the food, and it'll also give you recipe ideas and all those sort of things. So the stores that are actually using this technology to really deliver a totally different experience. Google are trialing a bit of software on their Map app at the moment, where basically you can hold it up and you can scan, but you know, wherever you are, and it will start giving you information about where you are, where you're close to, all those sort of things. So that's being used and trialed around delivering great tourism experiences at the moment. But it's kind of using augmented reality just through a smartphone and an app on the smartphone to really bring those places to life. So stuff being trialed at the moment, but it's really close to being kind of mainstream part of our lives. Some people think this could get a bit intrusive, but again, we can manage the privacy around this. But it will get to the point where actually you'll be offered special offers. So you could be walking past I don't know, a shop on a high street, and it will suddenly tell you, well, come into this shop and you get 50% off. X, Y, and Z, or a sandwich, or what have you. So, you know, also be understanding the customers, you know, whoever's phone that is, and what preferences they've got, and actually targeting different offers at them, and all those sort of things. So these are things that are very, very much in the making. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but this is a great tool, and again being used more and more widely. But basically, what this is a wine called 19 Crimes, and there's lots of different wines who use this technology, but they use augmented reality to basically bring their wine labels alive. So through an app on your phone, Living Wine Labels is the app. You can basically scan the wine label on a 19 Crimes bottle. You don't have to buy it, go in Asda or somewhere, and it's on the shelves, and you can do it there. And basically, you just hold the phone up against the wine bottle, and the wine label comes alive. This is Australian wine, so basically all the people who are featured on the wine labels are ex-convicts. So some of the early people to populate or to be sent over to Australia, and basically they come alive and tell their story. You know, this is what we did. You know, this is why we were sent to Australia, and their experience and things. So again, it's just ways of kind of bringing our products to life, and adding new dimensions. One thing I would say around this is that, again, it seems, you know, but maybe inaccessible. But what's really interesting about a lot of these things, big companies have invested in the R&D. They've developed the technology, and a lot of this is actually now pretty readily accessible to smaller businesses, because they're basically licensing out this technology to other organizations. Just to give an example of that, some of you have maybe seen the recent addition of the Amazon Go store into the UK. But basically that means that you can go into an Amazon supermarket, essentially, walk in, open your app up, put all your products into your bag, and just walk out, and it will automatically bill you. Amazon have actually now packaged and licensed that software so other retailers can use it. So again, they're kind of putting some of the hard yards in, and developing these applications so that other businesses can use them. There's obviously a benefit, and there'll be a revenue model for them in doing so. This is a picture of me, actually, just again demonstrating how businesses are using technology really to drive more online sales and better online experiences, where there was probably a higher reliance on physical experience and physical advice in the past. So this is Oil of Olay. So what I think I still refer to as Oil of Ulay, the Oil of Ulay website. And basically, what you would normally do, you know, when buying skincare products, is maybe go into a department store, ask the healthcare representatives what skin would be right for your, or what creams would be right for your skin, and all those sort of things. That's kind of the traditional way of doing it. Now, what you can do, you can actually go on the Oil of Olay website, take a selfie of yourself, and basically what it does, again through artificial intelligence, it's skin recognition software, basically analyzes your skin type, and then what it does based on your skin type, it recommends products to you. So, you know, if you want to bring life back into your cheeks or your eyelids or whatever they may be, it basically says these are the products that we would recommend for you. So again, it's automating that process for businesses. And again, you know, there's applications that can be used that will do this job for people. So that's a good example. Apart from I'm not 48, it's positioning me a bit older than I actually am. So a bit it can't possibly work very well, that site. Another quick example here is you know, we're seeing artificial intelligence being used now to deliver personal training. Physiotherapy as well is another thing where artificial intelligence is being increasingly used. So again, body scanning software, it'll monitor how you're performing a particular exercise or stretch, or for physio, it will kind of look at your posture and how you're holding yourself and all those sort of things, and it will basically correct you. So you know, this chap here doing the exercise wrong, if he's doing it wrong, it'll correct him. You know, it'll equally through wearables, it'll monitor how hard they're working and suggest maybe increasing intensity and all those sort of things. So, and you know, these technologies are becoming really effective. Big issue, actually, just going back to the Oil of Olay example, we're increasingly seeing online retailers, you know, so clothing stores trialing artificial intelligence and augmented reality, so people can actually try on clothes. So they virtually try on clothes. It'll basically scan your body, and then you can see what those clothes look like you in a very three-dimensional way. One of the big drivers for that is that a big problem for those organisations or those organisations is returns. You know, people tend to buy a load of clothes and then send a load of clothes back, and that's not good for business and their operations. So actually allowing people to you know, get it right first time, I suppose, is something that they try and do. This example is something that I absolutely love, and this is Disney, and but basically what Disney do, they use data really well. It's data about their customers, really effectively to basically deliver great customer experiences. So what they do, they've got something called the Magic Band. So if any of you have been to Disneyland, you've probably worn one of these things that you see on your screen here. But these bands are essentially, you put them on your wrist. They allow you to manage your whole experience around the park. So it lets you into your hotel room if you're staying in a on-site hotel. They basically, you can have credits on there, so it allows you to buy your food, you know, make transactions, you log into Ride, all those sort of things. But the other thing Disney are doing is they're basically using that band to monitor how you use the park. They then segment people together. They understand different customer types, and they design the park and the flow around the park to cater for those different people. It could be that for one reason, a particular queue's busy for a ride. What they'll maybe do is they'll, based on your customer type, you know, so you may be, I don't know, a 13-year-old boy or child, they'll maybe suggest there's a ride around the corner that you're probably going to like, because we know 13-year-old boys like that. So we suggested to slightly shorter queue, so jump on that ride now, and we'll tell you when the queue dies down for this one. Equally, if it's just a really busy time on the park, they'll maybe say, well, actually, you know, really warm at the moment, you know, really busy on the park, you know, we'll give you 50% off a Coke or something. So go and do that. So again, they're just using it to try and manage the park and make sure that people are getting the best possible experience. So really great use of technology by Disney. But again, and it's one of the things in a really practical way, we'll look at how we can use data to build profiles of our customers, again, in a really accessible way. Again, I'm just going to play you a quick video now, but this is a video from IKEA. But basically, it shows how they use augmented reality to allow people to see how furniture looks in the house. Again, this is technology that's being used widely across different online furniture retailers now. So something that is becoming more and more mainstream. So I will just play you this video. There you go. So that's IKEA, and you know, I don't know if you've used it, but it's incredibly effective. That software. So even if you're not looking to buy a sofa, it's still quite good for a bit of a play about. So do recommend that. The final kind of trend or example I'm just going to talk about is Amazon and Amazon Prime, because I think this is a particularly interesting one, because the idea for Prime came out of a brainstorming exercise, essentially, in Amazon, and there were several things that they wanted to solve. One thing was that obviously products on Amazon are very price sensitive, so they were trying to do things that would, I suppose, reduce price sensitivity. The other thing was the lead times for products were, and deliveries were longer than they wanted them to be. So they wanted something that would allow them to split. They wanted something that would allow them to speed that up. So what came out of that, the idea that they went with was to develop Prime. So Prime was to essentially provide a service to companies that guaranteed delivery times. So what they do with the monthly premiums from Prime, they use that to invest and develop their own shipping network. So essentially, they could then deliver fulfillment and shipping network, so that they could deliver or reduce the lead times from purchase to delivery. And the other thing, because people were paying a monthly premium, it reduced price sensitivity, because people were buying the convenience of actually getting a product on time and still at an incredibly competitive place. So people were more likely to buy from Amazon than somewhere else, because they were paying for the service, if that makes sense. So that's something that's been an absolutely incredible success for Amazon, and I'm sure something that's contributed to their continued growth over the past year or so. And it's locking customers into that business model. So incredibly clever stuff from them. So that's the last that I'm going to say around kind of tech trends, but it was just to highlight some of the kind of the big trends that are happening at the moment, because they'll become mainstream. You know, they'll become tools that we're using daily within our businesses in the non too distant future. So it's really just to put that on your horizon, and you know, to encourage you to think about how you could potentially be some early adopters around some of these technologies. You know, how can you use it to deliver a WoW customer experience, but also, you know, help you to stand out from the competition. So what I'm going to focus on now is 6 steps to a WoW customer experience. And through this process, we'll ask you for, you know, just some questions, or if you wanted to give some contributions as we move through this tool. But hopefully what this will do, it will introduce a practical kind of 6-step process that you could follow to think about the customer experience that you're delivering within your business. So the first one is to firstly create a clear customer experience vision. So what customer experience do you want to deliver? What do you want to communicate to your customers? It's really clear that people understand that and understand the value that's going to deliver to them. So some key questions we need to address in order to deliver this vision. You know, what you're trying to create. What does that end-to-end journey look like? Number one is, what relationship do you want to have with your customer in the first place? Some businesses want a long-term, deep, meaningful relationship with their customers. Other businesses, you know, just want someone to buy from them, bugger off, and never come back. You know, it's totally depends on your business, what you're delivering, and that type of experience. So So again, what do you want to do? Do you want them to really love, have a real deep affinity with your business, or is it a bit more transactional in nature? Because of course that totally affects the design of what you're trying to do. As such, and we'll talk about this in a bit more detail, but you know, in terms of the emotional connection that you want to form between your business and your customers, what's that like? How do you want them to feel about your business and your employees and your products? You know, again, going back to Disney, the way they've crafted the Disneyland park, they want, you know, people to have escapism. They want people to see that as a place of happiness, and they want the relationship with the employees to be not actually an employee customer relationship. They want it to be a customer character relationship. You know, it's all about the employees being characters. You know, they're all kind of acting out that experience and adding to it. So what type of relationship do you need to be? Obviously, it's got to be really clear, focused, simple to articulate. We've got to understand it. If you're asking your employees to deliver an experience for you, or your partners, it could be a delivery partner or whoever, you know, if you're wanting them to contribute to the delivery of the experience you want to deliver, you need to be able to explain it to them, make it really clear, this is what you want them to do, and this is ultimately how you want them to leave your customers feeling. So, you know, we need to be in that position. Again, you know, what will they say to others about your products and services? So once a customer leaves or receives your product or service, you know, if they leave your restaurant or cafe, what do you want them to say to other people? Because you've got to deliver the experience that's going to make them do that. And again, we'll look at a tool that helps us kind of measure and monitor the kind of level or the kind of depth of that experience and that we're actually delivering to people. And again, how long do you want them to be with you? You know, is it a long-term relationship, a short-term, etc.? You know, so we need to create a vision of what that experience looks like. Great way of doing that is, you know, there's some really practical, you know, questions on the screen. A great way of doing that is actually just getting a group of maybe employees, customers together and just kind of develop ideas. You know, kind of walk through your experience and just start to get ideas down on paper, just kind of brainstorm them out and start to develop what that vision looks like. It's obviously got to work within your model as well, and your business model, and kind of stack up from a commercial perspective as well. Now, obviously, to develop that vision, or once we've really understood that experience that we want to deliver and what that kind of vision is, the next thing we really need to do is understand who our customers are in more detail. And again, I'll cover this in a bit more depth. Who are your customers? Do you really understand what they need, what they want? Do you understand the different types of customers and what they need and want? How their situations differ and the challenges they face differ, the problems that they're looking to solve, and all those sort of things. So the tool that we use when it moves to understand our customers is develop something called customer personas. And this is basically a process of grouping our different types of customers together to almost build an avatar or persona for that particular customer that we can all think about. So this is maybe someone you would use when talking to your employees or your partners, when you're dealing with customer X or customer Y. This is the way you need to deal with them and the experience that we would expect you to deliver. So for argument's sake, we're going to focus on my mate Nigel. Great guy Nigel, and he's going to be the particular persona that we're going to build a customer type around. So the idea is, you know, Nigel, for the business we're going to be talking about here, basically represents a customer group, you know, a group of customers who we tend to buy to, sell to. So in the particular business that we're going to focus on today is actually we're a furniture retailer, small furniture retailer in a English town. So that's what we're going to focus on here. So, and we tend to sell to people like Nigel. So first thing we need to do is understand Nigel in a bit more detail, build up what a typical profile for Nigel would look like. So we know Nigel tends to be 70. He's white, British. You know, he reads and listens to the Daily Telegraph, Radio 4. So quite traditional and interested in politics. What's quite interesting about Nigel, however, is that, you know, he himself, he's retired now, but he actually used to be in business. He had his own furniture shop for 30 years. So probably, you know, but blowing this example up just to kind of reiterate some points as we move forward. What are his goals in life? He just wants to enjoy a comfortable retirement. You know, 70, work plumbing hard, and he wants to enjoy himself now. Where would we find him? Conservative club on a Friday night. Loves a bit of ballroom dancing, does our Nigel as well. What does he want from you? Well, actually, what Nigel's looking for, he's got a bit of a bad back, and he just wants an armchair that supports his back and that he's nice. He feels nice and comfy in. What does he like? Likes watching TV in his armchair, you know, that supporting his back. And, you know, because of his background, he used to sell furniture, so he likes quality furniture that lasts. Loves getting out and about, meeting family and friends. So quite a sociable chap, but really dislikes cheap imports and the internet. He's not a fan of the internet one little bit. So we're talking about technology here and how we can use technology to deliver great customer experiences. But actually, one of the things we've got to remember is that not all of our customers like technology or want to interact with technology. You know, quite often, you know, they may be skeptical of it, you know, on a variety of fronts. So, you know, we need to recognize that it's not for everyone, but still, how can we use it to deliver a great experience to Nigel? So just kind of going back to this point of creating an emotional connection with your customers. This is really important, and it's important, you know, in a similar way to why we're concerned with delivering a great customer experience. That the reason is that, but basically, if you create an emotional connection, people are much less likely to shop around. In fact, looking at some stats here, people are 44% less likely to shop around. You know, they're probably going to go with your offer because they got that emotional connection with the business. They're much more likely to be less price sensitive. You know, we know companies who make an emotional connection are much more effective at actually closing deals down and all those sort of things. So very similar reasons. You know, it's proven, scientifically proven, that developing an emotional connection makes conversion, makes sales, makes you know, the ability to charge premiums, etc., much more effective. So it's really important thing to achieve in the right way. So how are we going to create an emotional connection with Nigel when he's buying his new armchair? Well, so the first thing we've done, we built a profile of Nigel. We kind of understand a bit more about him. But now what we want to do, we now want to, you know, really try and cut down into his emotions. What does he say? What does he do? What does he think? And what does he feel? And what can we do to really kind of cut down to his emotions and connect with his emotions? So we're trying to get down to that more granular level. So what we're focusing on here is something what we'd call an empathy map. How can we empathize with Nigel? So when he's looking for a new, and this is, and we're thinking about Nigel, what the things he says, does, thinks and feels when he's buying a new armchair. you know, when he's going through this purchasing decision. So Nigel, you know, bearing in mind what we know about Nigel and his profile, he's probably going to say, well, oh, blooming heck, the nearest shop sits 100 miles away. You know, I'm going to have to travel ages. These online shops just sell cheap chairs from China. You know, it really doesn't like online. He's going to be skeptical. How on earth could he buy a quality chair online? Also, maybe, you know, particularly Nigel, considering he used to be in the trade, he's maybe a bit upset because actually since he's shut up, there's nowhere to go. You know, who could possibly sell him a share because he knows more about chairs than anyone else. He thinks actually, well, you know, I'm gonna have to travel 100 miles, you know, where I know I can kind of get the brands I want, it's online, but how on earth am I going to choose a chair if I can't sit in it? That's absolute nonsense. And all these online people, they're just wanting to make a quick buck. You know, he's really distrusting. They don't have expertise. No one respects quality. In fact, Nigel's getting a bit depressed when he's looking for this new chair. And actually, when you think about, you know, people in the 70s making what could be quite a big purchasing decision. I mean, this is probably a chair of over £1,000. You know, it is the sort of thing that makes people stressed. So this will, you know, could be a very stressful purchase. What he's going to do, he'll probably start to search online. He'll probably order online brochures online. Look for brands that he knows and trusts. So probably what he used to sell in his shop, etc. And he'll start to get a feel for where these businesses are, because actually he's probably looking at these chairs online, but he actually wants to go and see one. So is there somewhere, you know, a bit closer, etc., where he could go? And he's probably feeling that he's a bit frustrated. You know, he can't sit in the chair, anxious about paying online. You know, feels that he's got superior knowledge. You know, all these online shops, their knowledge is probably quite superficial, and again, just really kind of confused about the whole situation. So Nigel's not in a good place at the moment, you know. So, but I'm sure you can see this will be a tip of, you know, it's a bit far-fetched, but it's probably not that far-fetched. You know, you can imagine, you know, yeah, I'm sure you all know people you've probably had conversations with who are making a purchase like this, who have been through quite a bit of turmoil. So we understand Nigel. We've developed a really deep understanding of Nigel now. Now what we need to do is think, for customers like Nigel, how are we going to optimize the customer journey? You know, this isn't about just delivering a vanilla online sales experience. This is about optimizing the customer journey for Nigel whilst adopting digital technologies to make ourselves more effective. So we'll do this for Nigel. So going back to the customer journey, we tend to move from a process of awareness through to recognition. So we want to move Nigel from a point where he's aware that we sell the chairs that he's looking for. So that tends to be a marketing function. We then want to support Nigel to evaluate the different options. You know, it tends to be a sales or kind of customer service function. That so here's all the different chairs. You know, which one's right for you? What's going to give the right support for your back? We then want to deliver it to Nigel in an effective way. We then want Nigel to kind of sit in that chair, you know, realize that it's supporting his back, it's the right chair for him, and then recognize the value and tell people about it. That's the important thing about recognition. We want our customers to go and tell people how great we are. So that's ultimately what we're trying to do there. And so that basically we want to map that journey. So what we could do here, we can basically start to map a customer journey based on what we'd call touch points. This basically allows us to think about, as a customer moves from the awareness stage through to the recognition stage, how are we interacting with that customer? How are we touching that customer as they move through that journey? And that'll be a combination of physical touch points and also digital touch points. So what we've got at the bottom of this chart is physical touch points. So there's things here like PR, radio, word of mouth, etc. And then there's digital touch points at the top end there. So this is a tool that's really helping us build a picture of how our physical and digital touch points are coming together to move someone through that journey. What you'll notice on here is that we've got some lined dots that are basically what we call earned touch points. So that's where it basically earns the respect or the kudos from that customer, and they're going to tell other people about your business. So that could be through word of mouth, it could be through social media, it could be through Twitter, etc. But that's one of the things that ultimately we're wanting to achieve. So I'm just going to talk you through an example of how we could develop that customer journey map for Nigel. But first, just based on our understanding of Nigel, based on the understanding that we've got on Nigel, what has anyone got any ideas on what we think we could do, or how we could use digital technology to wow Nigel, to alleviate some of his concerns and help him through his purchasing decision? Don't feel obliged, but if anyone's got any ideas, just unmute and shout out, or feel free to put something in the chat. Okay, no worries. We'll crack on, because in true Blue Peter style, what I have here is one that I prepared earlier. So these are the type of things, thinking about Nigel and the type of customer he is, some of the things that we could do. So first thing here, in awareness, when Nigel's looking online for a new chair, could we provide videos of experts talking through different features and benefits, maybe including some feedback from real customers who had the chair, maybe who've had a black back condition, etc., to talk through how they've found it. So this is trying to get across. Actually, we're not just trying to sell you a chair online. We're giving you expert advice. We know what we're talking about. We really understand these chairs. I've recently bought a tent and been through this experience where I've actually watched videos of the experts who were selling the tent, putting it up, kind of talking me through all the features, telling me, for a family of 5, why this is going to be a good buy, and all those sort of things. And it was really effective. And another thing Nigel's going to be, although, I think we're making the assumption that he's not going to be buying this from a shop, what would really add value to him? So the bottom touch point here are physical, the top are digital, by the way. So this bottom one here is a physical touch point. Of course, that can still be delivered remotely. So one of the things that Nigel would probably really value is one-to-one expert advice and account management. And that could be delivered over a Zoom call, such as this, or could be over telephone. So that would provide the expert, the sales consultant, the opportunity to kind of talk through on a one-to-one basis with Nigel the features, benefits of the chair, why they think that would be a good choice for him, but also to talk him through the whole purchasing process and how they would deal with him moving forward. And I think someone like Nigel actually having that ability to speak to someone and spend time with someone would really help them. Another thing we could do, taking that IKEA example, there's no reason why we couldn't use an artificial intelligence app to help Nigel actually see what that furniture would look like in their room. What's great actually in things like furniture retail now is if you're an independent furniture shop, quite often the big manufacturers have already developed that technology. So you can go through their catalogue, scan it, see what it looks like in your room, like Stressless and all those sort of people kind of have that technology. So sometimes the companies or your suppliers, in the products and services you sell, the actual manufacturers of those sometimes have the technology that you can utilize within your business. So we can do all that. The other thing and this would be really really adding value, is that one of the things we could do for Nigel is actually take a body scan of him, and see actually based on your back, your profile, your posture, what type of your size, what type of chair do we think would be right for you. Not suggesting that technology is necessarily off the shelf at the moment, but there's certainly something that's technically possible. The other thing we could do from a digital point of view is that we could provide automated delivery updates to Nigel, but you could do it in a way that feels like it's coming from the expert that he spoke to. So, hi Nigel, just want to give you an update. You can make these things really personable, but it can actually be automated in the same way. If Nigel then reacts or responds to that message, then that's when the account manager would kick in this particular experience. One of the things Nigel's probably still going to be a bit apprehensive about is that he's still maybe going to pay over £1,000 for a chair. What if it's not right? I think I've made the right choice based on what I understand, but just say it's not right. What am I going to do? Am I going to lose £1,000? One of the things to actually address that could be that you provided a 1-week comfort guarantee. So actually, Nigel, don't worry about the purchase. Your money's safe. If it's not right for any reason, you'll get your money back, and we're going to give you a 1-week comfort guarantee. But based on this process, we think we got this right for you, Nigel. We think you're gonna love this chair. Equally, Nigel would probably appreciate the delivery driver kind of placing it, positioning the chair for him in his room, taking all the packaging away. It's quite a high value purchase, this. So the delivery drivers we're dealing with, we're requiring them to add to that experience that we're delivering. I think the other thing Nigel would really appreciate is for the account manager to give him a call after. Is it all right, Nigel? Still within your 1-week comfort guarantee? Is the chair working for you? And all those sort of things. Lovely little touch as well. And one of the points I'm trying to get across here is that in a world of digitally driven processes, sometimes little physical touches really add a bit of class. They really make a difference. So maybe just a little handwritten card sent through the post to Nigel, from the account manager, maybe with an offer to refer a friend and encourage that recognition, would just be a nice little touch. And actually, if he was really happy with what had been delivered, would he be prepared to do a little video, just see a little video, and we'll maybe give him something, just to say thanks around that, but just to tell other people about his experience. So that hopefully gives you an idea of how you could essentially use technology to deliver an enhanced experience to someone like Nigel through a digitally driven model. But just the key point here, again, I would just like to emphasize is that it's not all about digital. It's about how digital and physical touch points combine to deliver that great experience. I mean, it's like things like this, delivering a webinar like this is much more effective if actually you can be in a room and have post-it notes and all those sort of things together that can work well together, as it were. So to do this and actually to take it forward, because what you've got to do now, we've decided for customers like Nigel, this is the type of experience that we want to deliver. There's probably a whole range of people involved in delivering that experience. We now need to protect it. We need to hold it together. We need to make sure that that's delivered with real consistency. So what we want to do is create a great way of doing that is to get different people who are involved at different points of the customer journey, to group them together in what I would call a team of customer experience departments. So they're people from different parts of the business. So we bring them together. different functions to deliver that, to come together to think about actually how can we challenge the process, look at the process, figure out ways of making it better, making sure that the interactions and the crossovers from one function to the next, so it could be from sales into delivery, is that working effectively? No itineraries getting lost, all those sort of things. If there was a particular request from a customer, making sure that isn't being lost. So we're bringing that group of people together. And one thing I would just emphasize here, this is almost trying to create an environment where within our businesses, we're thinking less around the different functions. So we're not thinking as a finance team and a marketing team and a delivery team. We're thinking about a team that is delivering an end-to-end customer journey. So we're structuring ourselves around the delivery of customer journeys rather than the delivery of different functions. If you look at, you know, the most progressive companies and the companies that really utilize technology effectively, that's the way they tend to organize themselves now. And they use technology to basically integrate all those functions together in a single system. So I think that's partly the kind of trick around that. It's getting people to, you know, think outside of their silos and actually across the customer journey, and to constantly, you know, find ways of doing things better, to continually mine data and understand your customers, develop new empathy maps, review them, to figure out ways of delivering more wow to the customer. So you're bringing this team together to develop that understanding of customers, the customer personas, the empathy maps, to map the customer journeys, to figure out ways of doing things better. And it's not a one-off process; it's continual. You know, it's about trying to build that culture where of constant challenge, innovation. You know, where people are always looking for better ways of actually delivering a better experience and delighting customers. So it's cultural. You know, it's trying to embed that really within the culture. And of course, what we want to do is we want to make sure that, you know, we want to make sure that the experience that's been delivered has been well. You know, there's been a great experience delivered to our customers. So again, here's just a simple way of really tracking or measuring the experience that you've been delivering to customers. And this is a tool that we call Net Promoters. Some of you've probably used this when rating other services, but basically what Net Promoters does, it asks a very simple question, and that question is, would you recommend this product or service to someone else? So that's the only question we're asking here. If someone scores between, on a continuum of 1 to 10, if someone scores it between 1 and 6, they're called a net detractor. So they're someone who probably they haven't had a great experience, and they're probably going to say, actually, I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole. And they're probably also going to tell people about it. You know, they'll maybe post something on an online review or on social media and all those sort of things. So they're what we call a net detractor. They will actually take people or detract customers away from your company. So we certainly don't want them. If the score is 7 or an 8, they're what we would call as passive. So it was a good experience, but it wasn't wow. You know, we're not blown away. We're not going to be evangelical about that, but it was okay. So we're going to be pretty passive. We're probably not going to tell anyone we thought it was fantastic, but we're probably not going to tell anyone that it wasn't a great experience. You know, we're just very lukewarm about the whole experience. And then at the top end of the continuum, and this is what we're trying to do, is we want to deliver net promoters. So they're people who would score between a 9 and a 10. And basically, the rationale is if you're delivering a 9 or a 10, you've had a really powerful experience to the point where you're going to go and tell other people about it. It's really powerful, and you're going to be evangelical, and you're going to tell people that this was fantastic. So we want to ultimately get people who are going to score us a 9 or a 10. So it's just a simple question in your feedback that you can use.